Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Reseller Information Network. Guys, we're like 60 plus, and I just totally blanked. I think it's 62. 62. You know, once you get to be 62, you begin to forget things. So that's kind of what's going on. But hey, we are so pleased and excited today to have with us Pocket Change Podcast. We're here today with Joe, Dan, and Jimmy. So we're gonna be bringing them in on some RIN exclusives. You know, not everybody just interviews a whole podcast, but that's what we do. Is we like to bring the communities together. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed to Pocket Change Podcast, you need to go check them out. It will be worth the subscription. And hit the bell, give them likes, send them some comments, ask questions. You know, keep them on their toes over there on Pocket Change. But we're today we are going to be talking with these guys, and obviously our residents here, Tim, Leroy, and Cernoch. We actually have something special coming up this weekend. When this episode drops, guys, Saturday we are running an all-day raid train on the one-stop shop. So you will not want to miss those great deals. I know myself, I'm going to be dropping some serious reseller box heat on Saturday. So you won't want to miss that. And come and check that out. We do want to jump into a couple comments and then make mention of our channel membership. First comment is Trash Cat Rescue says, these videos get better and better. Thank you guys, as always, for the words of knowledge. Leroy, I'm so proud of you for stepping out of the comfort zone. Can't wait to see what this year brings. Vintage Sports Flip says, great stuff, gentlemen. I really enjoyed the story of the 10 bags of clothes, an interesting negotiation. I need Eric on some of my negotiations. Personally, for 2024, I'm trying to be more consistent with listing, keeping my editing consistent as well, trying to get to 10 listings a day, every day. High Plains Flipper says, thank you for doing the videos. I really get a lot out of them, which helps as I'm somewhat new to the reselling world. I feel welcome and don't feel intimidated to ask questions. Looking forward to an awesome 2024. Busy Octopus just says, right on, Leroy, right on. Oh, man. Dovetail Loft is the last one we'll share. To think that 60 episodes have been recorded, but it feels like you are just scratching the surface of the vast knowledge that the four of you have to offer. I look forward to each episode, and in addition to listing and loafing, to glean tidbits from your experiences. Thank you for continuing to do what you do. Hey, we do thank each and every one of you guys who watch us and comment and ask questions. If you continue to ask questions, we'll continue to try to give answers. And if we don't know, you know, we've got some fine fellows on the podcast today. I mean, we're joined by the ambassador. So if you have poshmark questions, hit Dan up, man. He's gonna take care of you.
Oh man,
he's gonna take care of you. Hey, we're gonna go around and let you go after we get Tim up here on the channel membership. He's got a big one today. Breathe deep, Tim. Breathe deep. Get a little pump in, hard breath in, and here we go. Channel membership.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you to our channel members: AZ Katsu, Simply, Shenanigans Shanna, Diane Matthews, our very own Blood, Sweat, and Cell, Trash Cat Rescue, New England Betty Boop, Joe Deals, Old School Picker, Vintage Sport Flips, Charities Terrific Finds, Kathleen the Fernway Flipper, Ohio Pickers, Annette and Frank, Rudely Retro, Absolute Finds, Des Hardy, Heather Peddler, James Steinbreaker, Old Pass, High Plains Flippers, Walter Chilton, Black Sheep Society, Jeff Pile Picker, Mark Rollins, Tracer J's Trading, Aaron Vaughn, Central Iowa Picker.
I'm impressed.
I'm out of breath.
Wiggle room. Thank you so much. Wiggle room is the last one. I was like, he's like, where's the extra? Where's the extra? Hey, guys, All right. Here's my first question, and then we'll start going around the horn and get everybody on the screen. My first question for you guys: whose idea to come up with the podcast Pocket Change?
The name Pocket Change?
No, the actual product Pocket Change podcast.
This is like such a weird story. So Joe and I used to do a live show with Mike the January House.
Which I used to watch all the time, packing in the garage at my Duke's house.
1:00.
Yeah. Yep. And it became hard to do time-wise. And so Mike at the time he suggested we do a podcast. And Joe shot him down instantly. He was like, this is a stupid idea. I was on board, but Joe said no. So we didn't do it. And then after, I didn't want to do it. I was like, I don't have time. I thought Mike wanted to do both. So anyway, fast forward, Joe and I started talking about it. We decided we wanted to do it. And we were trying to recruit Mike forever. And he said no. So then one day I decided, I'm like, Joe, let's just do it. So we made our first episode, and Jimmy saw it, and Jimmy wanted to do the podcast with us. So he came on with us, and
the rest is history.
I think that's it, right? I think that's it, right?
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah, we had trouble with the name, everything. I mean, it's been a.
Yeah. Well, I am a little upset though that none of my recommendations for the podcast name won.
I'm pretty sure if we go back, I think when you had gave us your suggestions, we had already decided on. We had another name before, and I'm still not saying it. I'm not going to say it because I reserve the right to
give us the exclusive.
Wait, do you have copyright?
Well, I made like so we're all excited about it, and I instantly went to I don't think I'm gonna speak for all of us. None of us were like a big graphic artist people, right?
No,
and like I went to Fiverr and got a logo made and everything, and we were so excited about the name, and then it looked like it turned out to be some kind of like political thing, and like we didn't want. Yeah. I was fine talking about politics, but like Jimmy doesn't want to talk about politics. So we just decided that it wasn't a good idea. And we actually got the name from, I was talking about it. I do a live I'm on the live with Yakov Benz on Saturday nights. And someone in the chat said Pocket Change podcast. So I said it to these guys, and we all liked it. And I think we had agreed on that name before, like we actually had like asked, like before everyone started putting their suggestions in. So that's how.
Yeah, because I liked the 3 Dudes in 1 Shoe podcast.
Yeah, I mean we went weeks. I mean it was a long time. It was forever.
The 1 Shoe story is going to go down in history for forever.
Oh, for the first episode.
Yeah,
I watched all the episodes. You guys got to watch the episodes because they're hilarious.
It's my favorite podcast.
Yeah,
hands down.
I'm so sorry.
He got me on week two. He got me on. I went back and watched week 1, and in the whole story, Dan's saying they had said it in the first 2 episodes. But yeah, it's funny.
If you saw the behind the scenes disasters, Tim, you'd probably change your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I am a behind the scenes disaster. So,
I don't know. It's not like that bad, but like,
no, I
don't know how it is with you guys, but like like the 3 of us, it's hard to do a show, 3 people together, and then like you kind of feel people out. Like I mean, I'll be honest, we fight, we bicker.
And Dan definitely wouldn't have answered my call when I called to see if I could be part of it. He would have been like, "Oh, just block that number right now."
I mean, there's growing pains, I mean,
it all works out at the end. It all works out.
No, I'm joking. Like it's been great. These guys are awesome. We're having so much fun.
No, I don't want to say so much fun. We're having fun.
I'm having so much fun. Listen, it's an envy thing for me. Like I want to be as funny as Dan.
Oh, don't.
So like every week I go into like how can, and I already know I just can't do it. Dan is
don't put that
absolutely
hilarious on me.
Yeah, Dan's one of a kind.
You don't have a kitchen sink near you, so you'll never be like Dan.
But that's what's fun. Like I find myself every week. Like if you guys watch, I'm over there busting out. Like I can't even stop laughing. I'm like Tim. Like I'm part of the podcast, and the whole time I'm just laughing. Like I'm just busting out laughing.
So I have a question for Joe because for those of you that haven't watched the podcast, Joe, you listed some shoes recently on StockX, right?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going pretty good. I've started collecting. I guess I was collecting sneakers or whatever. I would always buy like the latest Jordans that came out, and some of them I would wear, some of them I would just keep. So the ones that I kept that are in brand new condition, my son, Joey and Luke, they're 16 and 14 now. They turned me on to the StockX, and they would always go through it and look at sneakers and want to buy sneakers on there. So I decided to list a couple pairs on there, and they sold right away. The difference with StockX is it's almost like an Amazon to me. Like it's a race to like the bottom because you don't create your own listing on there. It's just basically if you're selling a pair of Jordan 11s, their pictures are already on there. They have to be brand new. So it doesn't set you apart in any kind of listing that you can do. Better pictures, better description, anything else like that. And literally the shoes that sell are the lowest price. So if you're selling something, if the last pair sold at $250, if you weren't priced at $250, you're not selling them. You know what I mean? And then some people will come in and list their sneaker at $245, and now that's the lowest price. That's the one that will sell. So it's some. I bought these. Some of these sneakers are 5, 6, 7 years old. Some of them 8 years old. So, from what I paid for them retail and what I'm selling them for now, it's been good. So, but they have different things too. There's caps on how many you can sell. Like I'm at the limit now because I just signed up there. They only let me sell 5 pairs of sneakers. Now I have to wait until
he's got to get to that ambassador level still.
Yeah, the next selling level, and then I can list some more. So
I saw they're selling Stanley. What are they called? Do you call them thermoses or mugs? What do you call them? Tumbler. They're selling Stanley tumblers now on StockX.
Wow. Yeah.
Also, it's not just a shoe site. I thought it was just a shoe thing.
I think it's a
they do
site.
a lot of hype beast type stuff. Like,
all right.
Yeah, they even
breaking news. Breaking news just came across the breaking news device. Tennessee Titans fire their head coach Mike Vrabel.
Whoa!
What?
Dang!
Throwing that out there, so
I don't know. They don't have a quarterback, so.
What are you guys? Do you guys take advantage of postseason sort of situations? Like, are you guys listing all your stuff that you have, like, or delisting if you already have it listed of the teams that are in the playoffs or for football?
I'm so glad the Browns made it. Like, I've already sold a couple pieces. I sold 3 Browns beanies and a jacket already, but that's all I had. So yeah.
I know Leroy's not selling any of his Steelers stuff, but.
I just sold a Michigan shirt this morning.
Oh, yeah.
University of Michigan.
Leroy has left the building. I don't know if he left because.
Wait, I thought Leroy was the time guy.
Time's up. Time to go. He said it's time to go.
I think the rule is no Steelers jokes to Leroy, so I'm not doing it.
That was a refrigerator run, guys. Don't worry about it.
So Dan is the only one that sells because for those of you that don't know, Dan is a besides it being a professional podcaster, he is also. Is that what it says?
Here we go.
I put Pocket Change Podcast as my name.
I see that.
I thought I didn't want to take the reign of who was gonna do it, but Joe's just fucking his own channel. Jimmy's just Jimmy today, I guess.
I remember, like, it's kind of funny because we've known each other for a while, like these guys, like way back. I on my feed the other day, it actually popped up Reseller Roundtable with Jimmy, like way back 3 years plus. And I've had the opportunity to pick with Joe this past year at Reseller Rally. We had a good time, and like now we have a lifetime of regrets together that we could think about our biggest reseller failure in the past
Did
year.
you not buy any comics in there, Joe?
I did. I bought some.
Joe did better than me on the comics, bro.
I have
Yeah.
jokes that I can't make.
I did buy. I still have to go through a lot of them, but I pulled out some of them, and I'm in the process of figuring out how to get some of them graded.
Still in that process.
Yeah, well, I'm a slow process here, slow learner.
Most of us have met, except for Dan hasn't came across the Mississippi River yet, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to come to something.
Listen, if Barry could come from over there in East Jugodia, then we could get you to come over here.
I'm not regret, but like I want to come all the like I feel
The
bad that
127 would be perfect.
Do you fly, Dan? Do you fly? Or are you nervous?
I'm very scared of flying. I'm not that far from Cincinnati. Just I was a struggle. I mean, I'll be honest. Like
I'm gonna swing by and pick you up next time, and then we'll ride.
Well,
together.
for the rally, like I bought a ticket. I was ready to come. Like, but then I started having I had car trouble. Like new tires, new brakes, and everything started adding up. And like just doing this as a job. Like I've only been doing this like 4 years of reselling.
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm still learning how to do things.
But you are an ambassador.
I'm ambassador on Poshmark. I have over
Level
11,000 followers. 11,000 followers. If you on Poshmark, not any other platform. I don't have very many followers, but like I'm still new. I'm still learning things. So it was very scary to put out that kind of money. And then afterwards you start thinking, I was worried about it at front. And then afterwards, I was talking to Joe, and then he was I'm not saying like, he did the comic. He was at the comic book thing. And it was like, oh yeah, I could have like sourced my way down there and made money. And I didn't think about that at the time. Like it wasn't in my head to like, I didn't think about that. Like it was, I was worried about how much money I was spending to go there. Not I could actually go there and.
I'm the same way. I didn't go to the reseller rally this past one because I couldn't afford it. Like the things were just too crazy at that moment in time here at the house. So I was like, I just couldn't do it. But the sourcing is the funnest part. I've been hung out with Joe twice. Joe and I met Joe at the first reseller rally, and then Joe and Mike and I, we went and we met up with some other people. We went sourcing in Pennsylvania. Yeah, and then we ate at this crazy buffet, bro. What was the name of that place?
Wait a second, let me get my pen and paper.
Shady Maple.
Yes, Shady Maple, bro.
Oh, you didn't get cheesesteaks?
This was the biggest buffet. I thought it was a casino. Like when you walk in, it feels like you're walking into a casino.
Hey, to some of us that might be a casino, all right? You walk in and you're winning.
It was crazy.
Maple,
Yeah, it was an Amish all you can eat place. It was unbelievable.
That's all you gotta say. Amish, like they put on the spread, like for sure.
Yeah.
So nobody else is selling on any other platforms. Well, Joe's now a StockX ambassador, but Dan, you're just selling Poshmark and eBay. You're not doing anything else.
No, I do Poshmark, eBay. I should say eBay first, right? eBay, Poshmark, Macari. I'm on Whatnot. I actually made my first marketplace Whatnot sale the other day. That's kind of exciting.
Soon to be one-stop shop, guys. Like that's what we've heard. Rumors has it they're in negotiation.
I don't think I have this stuff. I was talking to Tim before about that. I sell mostly like bread and butter kind of clothing, and like just shoes.
But see, that's the thing, Dan. One-stop shop there's a home. It's a home for everybody. You can buy a screwdriver. You can buy a rookie card. You can buy 40 American Eagle jeans from Cernoch. You can buy 8 pairs of Reebok baseball cleats, and you can probably buy a handmade letter block Christmas ornament at the same time. Like it's literally it's the one-stop shop for a reason. You sell whatever you think you want to sell. You could sell that.
I mean, if that's what you guys want, if you want that, I'll list stuff on there.
I mean, there you go. And then listen, you do the lives on the Whatnot, right? By the time you get that Whatnot money, it's been It's been through the bird feeder a couple of times,
It
right?
takes forever. It takes so long.
At the
takes
one
so
stop
long.
shop, I mean,
You bring up painful memories.
yeah, at the one stop shop, it's like, you might sell something. It might take a little bit of time to get the money, but by the time it gets to you, it hasn't been, pecked at by a couple of crows, blue jays, and a cardinal. That's the good thing.
I sold a pair of Vans the other day in the marketplace, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's gonna take me so long to get this money. I bet every time it takes a while to get my whatnot money, I always think of Tim about Facebook, because I used to sell on Facebook, and you always were warning about Facebook, and that's how it feels on there.
I told everybody from the beginning that Facebook, as soon as the Facebook was like, yeah, we're not giving you this money for some reason unbeknownst to man, because there is no humans that work at Facebook. So it's not like I can call somebody or message somebody on Facebook and be like, hey, there's Houston, we have a problem. No, it's just there's nothing. There's nobody. There's literally not a customer service for Facebook Marketplace. So it's like it's the Wild Wild West. Although yesterday I did sell 2 things on Facebook Marketplace, but that was person to person. I sold a gumball machine.
Oh wow!
That was pretty cool.
Yes.
And I sold a wood mirrored planter from the
Where
70s.
did you get the gumball machine? I got multiple. Where did you get it? Did you have the keys for it? Did you remove the gumballs that were already in? Like all these questions, I have to know the answer.
It was brand new. There was
Brand new.
It was never used. It was a carousel. How do you say it?
Carousel.
On a carousel.
Yeah, it was a carousel gumball machine, and it had the little thing to it. I think it was like in like a Ziploc bag with an instruction manual. So I guess that's what it was for. I have no idea how a gumball machine operates, but
How big was it?
it was probably about 3 to 4 feet tall.
Man, it would have been cool if it would have been used when you bought it, and then you cracked it open, and there was a bunch of change in there. That would have been awesome.
The Pocket Change podcast.
Some Pocket Change podcast in the gumball.
Pocket Change plug. That's for sure.
I remember Tim telling when I guess it was one of the times we met up or whatever, but I remember you telling me the horror stories of Facebook Marketplace, and that pretty much scared me off.
When I shipped there myself, like I shipped and I hit the $600 mark, right? So then they want your information. So I tried to upload my license, and my license address didn't match my mailing address. So then it was like, oh, sorry, we can't do anything for you. Like you're shut down. You can't ship anymore. Well, that's cool. You got $90. Like that's there just hanging out. I never got it. Like it's like,
You know who got it? You know who got it?
Facebook. I never got it.
The metaverse got it.
You know, somewhere out there, there's a license with your. There's a picture of your license is out there with the name McLovin on it somewhere.
Yeah. Somebody got it. That's for sure. Hey, I did have a couple questions that I wrote down because I know we kind of steer it back at times to reselling. I've seen you guys do this, that y'all do try to pull it back in occasionally. So we actually did some year-end kind of afterthoughts with our own stuff about like what this past year was. And a couple things that we talked about is there anything like this is a question that we asked ourselves the other week. If you had to switch genres and sell something different than what you normally sell, like if say, okay, going forward, I'm gonna jump into this category. What would that category be for you guys? So
like you have to leave behind like me, like I sell clothing. I had to leave all that behind and switch to this new thing.
Kitchen appliances like that. Like, you have to go from like clothing to makeup. Or
yeah, I'll tell you what, Leroy said that he's going to go all pink. He's going all pink yard sales here on in, toddler clothes.
And they think it's a big joke, and they busted my chops.
So this year,
is that a fishing pole in your hand, Leroy?
No,
that's a sling blade. Some people call it a blade.
I'm a mess.
All right, let's put him on the spot. Let's get Jimmy.
I mean, this is easy for me after watching the first episode of the Pocket Change podcast. Single left shoes. That's it. Single left shoes. No more toys. No more nothing like that.
Just one shoe at a time here on the way in.
I would go straight Cernoch. I would sell nothing but I would go vintage sports clothing, hats,
But
jerseys.
you sell hats already.
I know, but I sell everything though. But like
Yeah,
my
yeah,
main
yeah.
thing is
Something-
toys, right?
The most
You gotta get
what's
way out of your comfort zone.
way
Jimmy.
out of your
Way
comfort
out of my-
zone.
Yeah, way out.
Christmas
Like way
stuff
out.
or
Dude,
something like that.
Jimmy, like this. I said I was gonna be selling furniture, bro. Like furniture.
And I said
No,
kitchen
no.
appliances.
What?
Yeah.
I don't
I
remember
like
what I said,
microwaves,
I'm
but like,
sure
you know, food.
And Eric said
processors.
Eric couldn't say auto parts though. No, man, that's a tough because sourcing would be the problem. Because like what Leroy does, I just can't do tools. I don't know. That's a I don't know. That's a tough one.
It's
Like,
tools.
go to the next person while I think about it. I don't know. Halloween costumes,
I can
like all
see the wheels
Halloween.
turning.
I sell that stuff, so I don't know.
Well, I had I was if I have to get way out of my comfort zone because instantly I was gonna like, oh, I'll just sell like sports cards, like that would be fun. But if I'm going crazy, I'd flip like a car, like
Cars.
buy a car cheap and then like, just
Sell it
go
on
get
eBay.
Huh?
Sell it on eBay.
Sell it on eBay. Like if you could sell like one car, like a month or I don't know, like you go buy a car for cheap and then I don't know if you can find them cheap anymore, but maybe back before there might be a little bit of room to make some money and go get it like serviced. What do you call that?
Yeah,
I'm out of my comfort zone where you get it like detailed, and then you go and you flip it for a couple $100, and then maybe have a couple cars in your house. And you just do that, like
In your house?
like at your house. You sell like a couple. You sell one or two a month.
You can also go to the Goodwill and get the plaid jacket, shoot your own commercial out front.
I was just gonna say, I already see a
Come on
Dan
down, man.
commercial.
But like because I sell mostly, but I sell I'll sell anything, but I focused in on clothing and shoes because it's of space and I enjoy that stuff, and I can get like more of abundance of it, and it's like just I don't know, but if crazy I would do cars, be a car salesman of my own. I'm not working down at Nissan. I mean, I guess I could. If it depends on
To
the
be honest with you, I think you would be a great car salesman, Dan.
And what I'm waiting to see, drop the commercial in y'all's podcast next week. Like just go and drop the Dan.
No one's
Come
gonna know
on
this.
down to Dan's in Demand. Get yourself a brand new minivan.
You can pull out your
you go.
You can pull out the Art Vanderlei
Do you
industry.
guys know who Shane Gillis is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen his he has like a sketch comedy on YouTube. It's like Keely and Gillis, and he does like he does a car commercial and it's crazy. It's absolutely hilarious. And it's his name's like Taliban or something like that. It's something nuts. It's something nuts. It's so funny. Like this is I'm sorry. I said that and you can't even like.
But Dan the minivan man. That's
Dan.
I don't know. I would like a house. House would be great too.
Hey, just shoot the commercial in Walmart parking lot and sell other people's cars. That'd be hilarious.
There you go.
Sell other people's house.
If anybody in
You'd
the
be like,
chat-
"Hey, I'm Dan, the minivan man. I'm here for all you soccer moms," and just kind of like look at the camera.
if anybody in the chat has a question for Dan about used cars, please put it in the comments.
I don't know anything about cars. Though. Well, not that I know much about anything.
Yeah,
but
you're
I
gonna
don't
get
know
all
anything about-
types of carburetor questions on the Pocket James podcast episode.
I did sell my old car. I sold my old car. I talked a guy
How
out of
about
buying
Joe?
it too.
Oh, Joe.
All right, Jay.
Well,
What do you-
this is probably a tough one coming from like an everything seller, but I mean, to be out of my comfort zone is probably like ephemera. I mean, I come across it sometimes, but I know zero about it, and whenever I do buy it, it just takes me so long to look it up or find out exactly what it is that I think that would be really something that would take me outside of my comfort zone. I know there's tons of people out there that sell it, make good money on it, but I know nothing about it, and I think the amount of time that it would take to look everything up and seeing what you have would be
That's a more reasonable answer. I like that, Joe.
You know,
Dan's like, I should have thought of that.
Car sounds stupid. It's pouring rain
What makes
outside
this
right
question
now. Ice.
so difficult is because you want to still have fun doing this. Like I have so much fun selling the stuff I sell. So that's
Well-
what makes it difficult. Going out of your comfort zone into something that's not as fun, right?
It's like this
I
too.
never
It's
said I'd have fun selling baby clothes. I never said that was fun.
kind of like Joe said, you know, he sees it and he buys it every once in a while. But it's like it's like
Yep.
you know, I there's a lot of things that I'm like, you know, when I'm at my honey hole, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna leave that for other people because you know, like that's one thing. Like I could sell that, but it's like I'm not excited. Like I'm not like that's not my niche. That's not my thing. So it's like sometimes I'm like, I'll leave that and I'll buy this stuff instead.
Yeah. I guess, you know, this is something more along the lines of I had some success with it. I just haven't bought it a lot and sold them a lot. But home security systems, man, like cameras and sense, because that stuff flies off the shelf. And it's now there's a lot you have to learn about the different cameras and the different, you know, wired or not wired, Bluetooth, and even the harnesses and stuff sell. So I'd probably go into something like that just because I know that I would succeed. Like I know that market is just amazing. So probably something like that.
All right. Yeah, we shared ours last week, but or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about it. You know, because of what we do, like we generally do Reseller 101, and we talk about like if you could go back now and tell your former self, hey, why don't you do this when you get started? Like reselling. Like what's something you've learned along the way that you wish that you'd implemented like day one?
Well, I can go first with this. Man. Well, a couple. What would be number one? I have a couple answers, but I'll go with.
Well, like let's save some for us, Joe.
No, make it harder for Dan and Jimmy.
I already know. Joe would be like, can I check your attic? Can I check your attic for clothing?
I would something that I would have added and did right away is a thermal printer, because I can remember spending so much time cutting up those, cutting out the labels and taping the labels on. And when I got a thermal printer, it was like, it saved so much time.
Yeah.
Dude, I hand wrote my labels in the beginning.
For how long?
It's crazy to think
Like a
back
year?
like that.
Really?
When I started in 1902, there wasn't any.
He was carving it out on stone back in the day.
That would definitely be it. I mean, because I remember spending so much time doing that. And then the second thing would be organization, some sort of figuring out the process and organization of things. In the beginning, I spent so much time looking for items that I sold, and you know where did I put them, and you know that would be my two. I took two. I'll leave a couple for the other guys.
Oh, me. Wait, now I forgot what I was gonna say. It would be like I'm gonna say sell-through rate of things is
good one.
I wasted so much time on just buying anything, and it's I see it sold like once and there's 50,000 listed, so I'm gonna buy it. I didn't even process that, so that would be mine. I don't. That's a good one. So I'm gonna save that for. I mean, I won't say anything else. I don't know what else to say about it, but of just I don't know. See how much stuff. How many have been listed? How long it's been sold? Then yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, for you guys that are new, like sell-through rate, what he's talking about is like,
thanks, Eric.
look and see how many are sold versus how many are listed. When you first click on any of those things, you'll see down at the bottom, and it'll say if you're on your app on your phone, you can see how many are actually listed. If you're on the computer, it's another place. But
what do you? Because that's something that I'm kind of just to double down on this question really quick, because that's something that I'm like implementing like at an even like crazier level now. Like I'm like super OCD now with sell-through rates. Do you have like a standard?
Like
does
a
it
percentage?
Like? I mean, I feel like a percentage is like I don't really do percentage yet to a certain extent. I mean, I kind of like freestyle the percentage in my head. I'm like, oh, this is about 63.7%. That sounds pretty good to me. But like, do you have like a standard? Because sometimes it's like, if there's 5 listed and 1 sold, right? Like percentage wise, it's not that great, I guess, but it's like there's only 5 listed and 1 is already sold within the last 90 days. Like if I get this, I can probably.
I would base it on like how much it's going to cost me, and then like how much space is going to take up, and then as long as it's a decent price, I'm probably going to buy it because it'll make me money. And then I always think, I'm like, all right, I'm listing all the time. I'm always listing. Like those other 5 people, like maybe they listed theirs and they don't. That's the one thing they listed this year. Like, so I just kind of think it like that, but more or less something that looks like, oh yeah, the ship. Did you say shipping, Leroy? Like, yeah.
If your shipping's 1 day and their shipping's 3 days,
or I was gonna say if they do, like I do flat rate shipping, but if I know I can ship it for $10 and I see the 5 listed and it's like $14 for shipping and like. And so I kind of think of it that way. Maybe one person has theirs way overpriced, and then something like that. So,
but do you try to keep it at like what? Like 50% is bare minimum, or are we talking like 40, 30%?
I mean, I would, if it's cheap enough, I would do 30%, 40%, as long as I'm getting it cheap enough. And then it comes down to if I source a lot at the bins too. Like I do thrift stores in the bins, but when you go to the bins, it's so cheap. So it's just like it's hard to leave something when it's, oh my gosh, it's not gonna, it weighs nothing, and I can, even if I'm sitting on it for a while, then it maybe sell-through rate's not the greatest. Maybe that's a bad answer then. But like if I'm at the thrift store and they're asking $15 for it, like I really want to think, I'm really trying to think about it now, because how long am I going to lock up my $15 on this for? Especially when I'm always worried about like my money in and money out.
Especially if you're first starting out too, because you may not have the budget. Like if you're part-time, you want to buy something that sells, not buy.
I got lucky when I started that I was working a job, so I could just afford to make bad buys. Like I bought anything. Like I bought everything.
I did
literally
the exact thing. I still have boxes of stuff I bought for 2 years ago.
Yeah, I have a ton of bad buys.
Yeah.
Oh, I can make $5 on this. That no one's going to buy. So
the one thing I was going to add in here with the sell-through rate. See, I don't hold the sell-through rate that close. Like I don't look at it that closely because I sell on multiple platforms. So to like the sell-through rate on like eBay is one thing, but then the sell-through rate on Poshmark, Mercari, Grail, Depop are all different. So it's like sometimes I'm like, that's why I don't get so worked up with the sell-through rate, because I'm like, listen, there might be 5 on eBay, but there might be 1 on Poshmark or
that's
one
a good point. I never thought of
that.
That's a good point.
That's how I look at it. So I think sometimes don't get so deep into the sell-through rate, but it's good. It is good to look at for things that are like very popular.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And if you're new too, like if you're new, it's always good to use it as a gauge.
100%.
I'll be honest with you guys. I don't really use sell-through rates. I really don't. Eric will tell you don't see me comping much. I sort of know my lane, and if I feel like there's a lot of other things in that category, I'll make my own category. Like I don't care. I messaged him last week. There was a saw blade that I've never seen. I spent an hour and a half looking for it, couldn't find it. I listed it the best I could. I underpriced it. I listed it at 60. I was happy with 40, and I listed it at $69, and it sold in probably 2 or 3 hours. But there was no other there was nothing. I couldn't find a company. There was nothing. So I really don't look at sell-through rates. I do try to see if there's one listed, just to see if I don't have to make my own listing.
That's
All right, Jimmy.
Man, there's so many different answers that popped into my head for this. So I was trying I'm glad you picked me last, especially after that last answer I gave. You had to go with me last for sure. But I think the thing that has helped me the most, and I'm going to give a shout out to Eric, because I've had the honor of picking with Eric. And this is probably the thing I've learned from somebody that's helped me the most. And that's just, while sourcing, just ask. I was the worst at, hey, Do you have this? Do you like if it something that you know, like some like Leroy knows tools? Ask, hey, you got any tools for? Just ask. I went picking with one of my friends who is big into RC airplanes. All right, I hardly ever see RC airplanes at yard sales. We went out one day, and he asked at every single sale, "Hey, do you got any RC plane stuff at all?" He ended up buying 3 RC planes that day. None of them were in the yard sale. None of them were out there for to be bought at the sale, but they went in their garage or whatever and brought out these RC plane parts, kits, whatever. And he ended up buying 3 kits and making good money on it.
I know, I know a guy who's good with that stuff.
Yeah, so Eric, that's what I'm saying. Like Eric, when I went picking with him, like this, Eric will ask everything and anything. Like Eric ends up like in the house eating a sandwich with these folks. Like he's like he makes friends with them. Like he's in there. They're inviting him to dinner and stuff because he's not afraid to, like he'll start a conversation. Tim's laughing because he's been there. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. And so like that's the one thing that's helped me the most because I was bad at it. Like I would just pick the sale and then leave without even breaking a conversation with the people at all. The people having the sale. Now I'm always conversating. I'm asking questions. I'm not afraid to ask about the stuff that I know. Like right now I'm just asking the stuff that I know well, like toys. You know, obviously a lot of people ask for video games, but I'll ask for vintage hats. I learn, you know, now I always or hats in general. I've definitely bought a lot of hats that way by asking you got any hats for sale. So that's the one I think has helped me the most and broke out of my shelf because I didn't do that at all. Is don't be when you're at a garage sale and if it's something you know, ask. Just ask, hey, you got any of this? Because I'll tell you right now, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is asking. Everybody's asking, hey, you got this, you got that. So it can help your picking a ton at garage sales and yard sales and estate sales, stuff like that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, for me, I mean, obviously Jimmy said that about the asking. Like one of the things I always think about too, like, okay, so everybody picks different, and some people, because of fear, like they have certain things that they would do and they're really missing the boat. Like just like that, like not asking because you're like, I'm not going to say anything to anybody. I'm just going to keep my head down, grab stuff and go. Like I've heard other people give advice about don't tell anybody what you do. I tell everybody what I do. Like everybody. Like I don't, because dude, do you know how much freebies I get all the time? Because people know what I do. Hey, I was going to throw this out, but I know you do this. Like, is this worth anything? I'm like, sure. Like, if you're going to throw it out, you're going to take it to thrift.
Yep.
Hit me up. So that's just a piece of advice, little bonus addition to you guys. All right. What about negotiators? All right. Out of the 3 of you guys, who would you say is the king negotiator here?
Not me.
It's got to be. I feel like it should be between Joe and I, but I mean, Joe's asked to look in an attic or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I don't know. I guess I negotiate sometimes. I don't do it all the time. If I get something that I know that is good and I'm going to make some decent money, I usually don't negotiate. But if I'm on the fence, if I'm picking up some things that I'm not 100% sure of, or, I usually negotiate then. I like buying sealed DVDs, and there's a lot of DVDs out there that they're not worth anything, whether they're sealed or they're open. So if I come across a big lot of like sealed DVDs and they give a price, I usually try to negotiate that down because I'm not 100% sure of what's in there. So I do negotiate, but it's not often. It all depends.
I just want to say, like, negotiating to me is like there's like, I don't know if it's an art form, the art form of negotiation. Like so I'm not great at it yet. I'm working on it. But like when I watch picker videos and I watch people, like the negotiation starts off for them. Eric knows what I'm talking about right now because Eric does. And I'm sure Tim's good. I've never been picking with Tim, like one-on-one, like me and him together picking. But like it starts as soon as they walk up to the sale and they're greeting the seller and making a little small talk with them and joking around with them and like maybe calling them ma'am or sir, like being very polite. That's where for a good negotiator, that's where it starts. Like it starts right there. They're already in negotiation they, the picker realizes it, that, they probably don't realize it, but they know what they're doing. Like, they're already into negotiation. So when it comes time to strike a deal, that person already likes them, likes their personality, sees that they're like a nice person. And so then when it comes time to make the deal, they already got them in their back pocket. Like, this deal's going down. Like, we're getting this price reduced.
Oh, that's so true. Cause I be trying to lay down that, like, for those of y'all that don't know, like Leroy, right? Like, Leroy is a smooth dude. Leroy, you might see Leroy in the back of the jazz club with the turtleneck, with the blazer over top of it, with you know what I'm saying? Maybe a cigar in the ashtray, right? Like, that's how, when I walk into a yard sale, I try to envision myself like Leroy in a jazz club. And that's kind of how I go and I start things off. Like, I'm plus, like, I'm naturally like I say yes sir, no ma'am to everybody. Like everybody just naturally comes out. Some people are like, what? And I'm like, that's just how I talk, like, all the time, right? So I'm very polite. A lot of people comment on my videos. They're like, I love watching your videos because you're so polite. Like, there's nobody like that. And I'm just like, I don't know, it's just me, But it's so true, because like that first impression is super important. And then I think the one thing to kind of, and this will hopefully help people who are new resellers too, is just the pile negotiation is I don't know why it says Overtheyears Sports, by the way. It's probably from when I did my recording with Carrie. But it's the pile negotiation is the biggest negotiating tool out there, because sometimes somebody will tell you a price on something, right? And it's just for that one thing. And then if you put it with like 3 other things that are like the same price, and then you bundle it, like, they don't even so a lot of people don't sit there and do the math. I mean, if you come across the people who do the math, then you might, there's no escape.
You start picking it up one at a time.
They're like, this is going to be $300. I'm like, damn, that's like regular price for everything. So like, but the pile negotiation is so clutch, because sometimes like they don't even want to care. They're just like, all right, $20, but like one of those items in there might have been $20 just for the one item. So sometimes it's beneficial to do that. It don't have to do the how much for everything, like that is not necessarily a good thing, because then you end up with a room full of stuff that doesn't sell for forever. So, but sometimes I guess it does help, because they're like, well, if you take everything, and you're like, all right, well, I'll take everything. I'll end up donating half of this stuff, get a 20% off coupon, and then use that coupon at the thrift store. You know what I'm saying? But the pile is so clutch.
Yep.
Oh, Dan,
I got
what
it.
about your negotiation? Do you beat up the bin people, or what are you doing over there?
Oh no, there's no negotiating at the bins. That's I should have said that I wish I did something differently in my reselling, is to actually go garage selling. I'm scared to death to talk to people at garage sales.
Dan, you need to take a field trip to 127 with us this year.
Yeah. I used to be so nervous. I would drive by. If a yard sale had no one there, I wouldn't even stop. I wanted someone else to be there.
After the 127, you'll be a professional.
So, and I remember the one time, the first summer I went garage selling, I was at a sale, and this guy had a bundle of PS2 stuff, and I was like, it was like $30 or something like that, and I was like, would you take 20? And like, I wouldn't even let him like answer, and I was like, 25. I'll give you 25.
You're upcharging yourself.
So I mean, you guys kind of know why we didn't think that Dan would be the negotiator out of it.
I want Dan to come to my yard sale.
So I'm really bad.
What, you got $1 on these? I'll give you 2.
Yeah, I've done that at like the church. At the church thrift store, they have, it's like it's pencil, and it might have been this pencil. It was like 50 cents, but I only had $1, and I'm like, can you just take the $1 for it? Will you just take $1? And they're like, no, just take it. I'm like, no, I have to take $1. So,
dude, they would love you on YouTube if you did garage sale videos, man. It'd be like the anti-Kevin of YouTube, man.
I'm the worst at negotiating. Oh, I tried back to a car. I tried negotiating money off my car, and the salesman's like, we don't do that. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what's the best you can do? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
See, no, Eric would be in the back room. He'd be helping them clean the car. By the time Eric was done, he would get the car for free, and they'd be giving them gas money.
Leroy, you're like an angel right now, dude.
It's Halo.
Got a halo overhead.
Yeah, honestly, for me, negotiation's the funnest part of what I do. To be honest, like for me, I just love it. Like for me, it's like challenge accepted all the time. Like the only time I kind of get upset is if I can't pull it off. Like, you know, these guys will tell you, like, sometimes they've came back and told me, they're like, oh man, that guy's too expensive. I'm almost like, all right, challenge accepted. Let's go see if we can't get something off of
It's
it.
like a tag team. He's all tag me in.
Sometimes I do, man. Sometimes I do come back with a deal. Sometimes it don't work. But yeah, not for lack of effort, that's for sure.
Who do you think is tougher to negotiate with, men or women?
Depends on what you're buying.
Yeah.
Really depends on what you're buying.
Yeah, because
I feel like
if it's the husband's stuff and the woman's in charge of the negotiation, I'm like Birdman, you know what I mean? I'm licking my chops, right? But like, you know, if in most cases we know that the wife is in charge, so when like you talk and she like comes out of nowhere and she's like, oh no, and then it's just like, oh man, like I wish she was like using the bathroom or something because I might have been able to get out of here with this thing. You know what I'm saying? But like I guess it really just depends on the situation. But I mean, sometimes it's not even necessarily man or woman. It's just like whose stuff it is. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you get the people who like they're selling their stuff, but they're not really trying to sell their stuff. They're just trying to make it look like they're selling their stuff to their significant other, and like that's like the worst case scenario.
I gotta interrupt this real quick. Listen. I go to a yard sale with Eric. The daughters are trying to sell the father's stuff. The father died. The mother's sitting there. She's still mourning. Okay. Eric's trying to get the hats. By the end of the thing, Eric's bringing back memories about the hats, and the lady was so excited she's giving him extra hats. He didn't want to sell nothing, and Eric's over there. He's bringing back memories. Oh, did he wear that in the field? He probably used to wear that when he went with his friends hunting, right? I'm like, are you kidding me, man?
Yeah, you gotta have fun with it. And too, like Jimmy said it early on too, like walking up to the sale, you kind of like you gotta do some scouting, right? Like you gotta keep your listening what's going on. I always like you'll see me kind of mill around a little bit and listen to what someone else is paying. Like, okay, it's like, what are they paying? Now I know, is there room? You know, is there things? Is everything got a price on it? But this thing doesn't, like, you know, like see where we're at. It's a whole strategy. But
do you like to have everything have a price on it?
I was gonna ask that.
You don't want it to have a price.
Don't come to my flea market because
I don't like at yard sales. If everything's priced, they took the time to do it. Like if everything's priced and it's later in the day, you're good. You're good.
You know, like
they've already seen that. Hey, man, it's later in the day. These prices ain't working out.
Like, we're all like on Spider-Man when like the scene where like the hairs on his neck start standing up and everything. Because when we hear like if we're in a yard sale and we hear low prices, like we hear the seller say a low price. I know we all kind of like stop and our like spidey senses turn on.
And you're like, what's here? That's your next. It's just like, what's here?
You know, I know we're all just like picking like crazy right when once you hear that low dollar amount, then you start like Tim, you start making that pile right then and there.
I'm gonna make a pile right here beside you. But yeah, it is. And I mean, little like because I'm a thinker about this kind of stuff. Like there's even I think about where to even put stuff, right? Like I really do. I think about like, okay,
put the most expensive thing in the bottom of the box, and then put all the cheap stuff on top.
Don't put that in a YouTube video now. Don't put that in.
And then hey, the person that really wants to get rid of the stuff, you just keep piling stuff beside them. and that's the price that gets it. It's going down. I was like, man, I know you're ready. Are the husband like you look like he's been sweating all morning, hauling that stuff out of the house?
Yeah.
He's
He don't want to put it back. He don't want to put it back in.
like, man, I said, let me help you. Let me help you out, man. I'm gonna all this stuff off. You ain't gonna do it, but yeah.
So wait, so Dan and Jimmy are both bin bros now, right? Do you have bins where you are, Joe?
There's none in. I just moved outside of Philadelphia over the summer, but there's no bins in Philadelphia. The closest one is in Belmore, New Jersey, and I've been there a couple times. It's. I don't enjoy it.
Are you wearing flak to go to that bins or what?
Yeah, I don't enjoy it. I mean, I don't know if it's just that bin. It's not a big place. Like I see Jimmy's bins and stuff like that. It's not a real big place, So there's tons of people in there. People are on top of each other. And then there's one in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. It's probably like 40 minutes for me, and I've gone up there, and that's like a whole I don't know. It's like a cult. You have to know the rules. There are unwritten rules. There's all this other stuff. I went one time. I broke every rule that was there. It was, people are looking at me and people are saying stuff to me. I was just like, forget this. So I'm not, I don't go to the bins.
I want to know if Dan has ever broken bins rules and how did react to those.
No.
Dan, have you ever broken the bin rules?
No. I'm to the point now where I actually go there when they bring the bins out. I used to go, if the bins are on this side of the room, I would go to the other side of the room and go pick over there. And then when everyone left from over there, I would go over there and then pick through and go look. So I wasn't around people. I tried to stay away from people. I follow everything. I don't.
Yeah.
There's been times where they start screaming at people and they won't bring the bins out. And I don't want to I don't want them to be mad at me. I'm always so scared to get in some kind of altercation and then them kick me out. Not that I'm walking around.
Are you there with the bin bros? Like, are the bin bros there? Like,
they're the Van Buren boys where I'm at. They're very nice, and they will hand me VHS tapes as long as I stay away from. I don't touch their t-shirts.
Keep your distance, buddy, and we'll give you some VHS tapes.
Here you go, Junior.
They've left behind like nice stuff too. I found like crazy stuff because I always go pick. They're impatient. They won't dig. I'm not saying the Van Buren boys, but some people at the bins they won't. Be
careful not to badmouth the.
Hey, so do you do the bin like you would roll your thing over and just grab every t-shirt, throw it in the bin, and then push it over the wall, sort it out?
No. I just go looking through and find I really don't. I don't. There's so much stuff that I don't get in there like a crazy person. Like I just kind of take my time and look, and I feel like I'm looking. I'm not gonna fight someone for a pair of Jordans that I'm not even sure.
Have you ever took an elbow?
No.
He's on the other side of the room. He's on the other side of the room by himself.
Yeah. I mean, if they're bringing shoes out now, I'll get my spot in the shoes. But but a lot of times I'll wait. I mean, I'll wait and I'll go find Doc Martens. I find all the time that they don't want. They're getting Nikes and stuff like that. That honestly, a lot of times I don't even want to mess with those because some of them I don't like Jordans. I don't know anything about like streetwears like that. And some of them look fake and some of them don't. I don't know which ones are good condition. So then I just I go and I'll find those. Not that they're like the most amazing things, but like dance goes. And I'll find some Nike nursing shoes that no one else, they didn't want. And I'll find those. They'll be $50, $60 for those. Like that's stuff I like. That's what I was looking for. And I don't know. As long as I'm finding stuff when they're not around me, I'm happy, and I'll just I'll stay out of their way.
What's the craziest bin story you got? Like, what's something nuts that happened in the bins for you there?
Like the crazy, just like weird was just some woman like took her child and just put him inside the bin while she was digging, and it was just so weird. Like the kid would just
pick the child up and put it in your cart and
just put it in the bin. It was so weird.
How many pounds did that cost? The baby.
It was just weird.
The baby.
That was weird. Not Nothing like too crazy. Like people yell once in a while, but
I got one.
What episode is Jimmy's bins story? The lady
fixing to share it. He's fixing to share it.
I don't remember what episode, but yeah, I got threatened to have the cops called on me for moving stuff around in the bins. Come to find out now we know this lady like has a reputation and a history. Like everybody knows who she is. They all just kind of stay away from her, because she comes from. So my bins is in a small town that's 20 minutes from my house. The Columbus bins is an hour away, and that's where she's known. Like people that come up from Columbus, oh yeah, we know who she is. It was like the most unfortunate timing. I was moving a big item. You know how it is when there's a big item in the bin. Sometimes you just got to push it over, right? And so I pushed it over, and right when I did that, she was saying, "Oh, these people are starting to throw stuff around. There's going to be problems." And I was like, and then you saw the item that I pushed just kind of land. And I was like, and then she said to me right then and there, she goes, "I'm talking about people like you." And I was like, and I might have said, "You need to mind your own business. Like, I'm trying to shop." I might have said that. I did 100%. I did say that.
Allegedly said that.
We get the truth now.
I did not apologize. I probably no, I didn't do anything wrong, so I wasn't gonna apologize. I was just moving something, and she wasn't even near me. She was on the other side of the bin in the other corner. And I make sure there's nobody there when I do something like that. Like I'm not just throwing stuff. I made sure there was nobody there. And then she's like she just kept rambling on the rest of the time. And then she said, "He's over here throwing stuff at me. I'm going to call the cops." And I was like, "Okay, I got to get away." I just had to get away from that lady. So yeah, that's the craziest thing I've ever experienced. And, Sonia was there with me, my wife Sonia, and she had people come up to her afterwards and like you guys didn't do anything wrong. Like I don't know what that and they're like, "You just need to steer clear of that lady." And there's so many things like she'll walk, but that's the same lady that walk up and start picking right where you're picking. She did to Sonia, she did to me, she did to a lot of people. And the whole time she's at the bins, she just kind of talking out loud so everybody can hear her and letting everybody know how unhappy she is while she's there. So, anyways,
I've never been to a bins before. So, like, what are I want to know about these unwritten bin laws?
Well, I broke them all.
Well, when I went to the one like in Jersey. I've only been to the bins like 3 or 4 times, probably 3 times. And the one time I went to Jersey, I literally, talking about apologizing at the bins, I had to apologize to everybody there. It was it was right after things started opening up again after COVID, and Jersey was they were bad with closing stores down. They were like the first to close stores down and things like that when that all first was going on. So when everything reopened, they had all these kinds of rules. They were only letting a certain amount of people in there and all that. Well, one of the unwritten rules at that time was it was only 1 person per bin.
Yeah.
And the bins had been open for a certain amount of time before I got it, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month or 2, or I don't know. Here I go walking in there and I would think, oh, there's not too many people in here. I just start picking at the bins or whatever. Well, the manager comes over, gets on the loudspeaker. I must have did it, a few times that day without being told about it. And then all of a sudden they refused to bring out any more bins because of me.
You're that guy?
I was that guy. People were booing me. People were.
You got a tomato smashed in your face.
I mean, people are cursing at me. I'm like, nobody said anything. Nobody was like, yo, it's only one person per bin or whatever. But then manager gets on the line. We're not bringing out any more bids if nobody can follow these rules. Finally, I'm like, people are looking at me, and I'm like, well, what's the rules here? Or it's 1 person per bin. 1 person per bin. You have to wait till somebody moves. And now
that's the tall bins, right? Like the tall bins.
No, these bins were kind of like laid out like they're
the white, blue, big ones.
They look like stretchers. You know what I mean? Like long, like they're waist high, but they're not too deep.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
I think each bin has their own rules too. Like
that's the big thing. They all have their own rules.
I don't know. I just went over to the manager. I explained myself. Look, this is my first time here. I didn't know there was these rules or whatever, and I just left after that. And people were clapping when I left and booing. I'm out of here. So I couldn't come back anyway. So
That's why everybody claps when I leave the bins.
That's hilarious.
So,
Leroy, did you go to the bins with us in Charlotte? Did you go over there?
No, I have one. I've been because I have one near my house, but I won't go. I don't like the bins. They don't got tools in the bins. I don't want.
I went to the one in Charlotte. That was my first one. The first year of Reseller Rally. Reseller Rally. What was the one? What is it? FlipCon. I went to FlipCon and I went to the bins with all the resellers. Like everybody's going in there. And I was trying to talk to all the t-shirt bros on the wall. Like that's honestly because I was trying to scope out the land. Like, what do we do here? And figure it out. But then I was just playing around, to be honest. Like I've done that. I picked with Kat at the one in South Carolina near where Leroy's talking about. And that one, honestly, like there was a dude, he kept throwing stuff in my bin, like when I was in there picking, like with her. And so, dude, I just started throwing it back double, like just doubling him up. Like every time you throw one, I throw two. Like I just kept piling. He finally got the hint and moved away because I was like, bro, like I'm not gonna sit here and let you like just throw it on top of me the whole time. So,
I hate when people do that.
But then I was kind of blocking. I was like, you know, offensive tackle, like Cat kind of get it. So we were. That's what I would say as a tip. Bring a buddy to the bins. Like you need somebody to watch you back, just to.
It's the buddy system. Yeah,
you got to spread out a little bit. You got to make a little room. But I have learned from the bin bros, like the t-shirt guys, that's what they do. Is they grab every t-shirt, throw it in their little rolly cart, they push over to the wall, and then they sort and throw back all the stuff they didn't want. Like,
man,
yeah, that way you're most effective. But they just put on the wall until the new bin comes out. One guy did, you know, like if you pay attention in there, like when they're tightening up the shoes, you can get in the right spot to get the right shoe. Like there's like an opening that comes up. But I asked the lady when I was in there, because we were filming, but somebody got kicked out the previous day for filming in there. And I asked her if I could film, and she said, we typically don't like it, but like just don't get in people's face. And then I told her, I said, what about if a fight breaks out? Can I film? And she's like, yeah, just give me a copy. So I did this in real life, but nobody picked me up on it. I was like, $20 if you start a fight, $20. But everybody just looked at me like I was crazy. So yeah. Mr. Buys a Lot, Brian, actually, he dressed in a onesie in there that he found in the bins, and he dove into the bin.
What? That's probably on the unwritten rules.
Yeah, that's
got to be an unwritten rule.
I wouldn't dive into the bins. Like I saw a little, little extra going on around there in the bins, but I've only been 3 times. For me, it would not saying I wouldn't enjoy it at times, but I don't know. Just figuring it out took a second.
Yeah, I used to go. I mean, I still go, and I don't spend like a whole lot of time. There's guys that they camp out there all day. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I should do that. But
there's literally people that set up like a miniature little daycare in the corner where kids are playing.
Yeah.
They pull the big toys from the bins and they set up their kids in the corner and they play with toys while they're picking. But like I wanted to say, like, part of the reason why I didn't like the bins in Denver and Colorado is like they were so busy. Like, and it almost, I'm not making this up, Tim, because Tim was asking about one of the crazy things at the bins. In Colorado Springs, there's literally like these they're almost like employees of somebody, and they bring in deep tubs with them, right? And just like Eric said with the clothes, when the hard goods come out, they scoop all their hard goods. They don't pick. Like all 10 of them just scoop the hard goods into their bin, into their tub. I mean, and then all 10 of them go to the corner and start sorting. And they're all working together, and they have tubs in the corner, and like the stuff that's going back goes in this tub, and the good clothes go in this tub, and the good shoes go in this, and they're whatever, the good silverware and the good electronics, and they sort over there. They're not picking directly from the bin. And the second I saw that, I was like, well, I don't stand a chance. Like they're pulling everything out.
I wouldn't like that.
And I can't believe that's not an unwritten rule. Like I can't believe that's not a written rule. Like why did they let them do that? Like the rest of us have no chance. And that's when I was like, I'm not coming back. Like I like the
roll,
park.
just when the bin comes out, just roll the whole bin away and go straight to the counter with the bin.
Walk to the corner. Like I'm not in Colorado Springs. There were people there with me. Like that legit was happening. It's like I couldn't believe that they were letting them do that.
Yeah, I saw one of the guys he was one of the clothing resellers, and he didn't bring a card over with him or anything else like that. He literally stood at the bins and would tie, like if it was a sweatshirt, he would tie it around them. He would tie the pants around them, tie the shirt over the shoulders, and he would walk back, like Jimmy said, he would walk back to the corner, put everything in a cart, and then go back to the bin again. And if it was a jacket, he would tie it around his waist. If it was, all this stuff. But he kept on doing his trips back, and then they would go over and sort it. And then
they put like a jacket or a shirt over top of their bin, like that's gonna hold people.
Yeah, blanket. They had like sheets. They would put like a big sheet or a towel over it. Go back, and then in the time frame of the old bins still being out there before the new bins came out, they would sort everything. And then they would sort it and then throw everything back that they didn't want. And then they would keep a cart. All their clothes that they kept, it was folded perfect, like stacks of clothes in their cart that they were keeping.
So wait, how long do bins stay on the floor before they get swapped out for a new set of bins?
Every store is different. Mine's every 30 minutes we get a new row of 5.
Yeah.
Every 30 minutes we get a new row of 5 bins. And it's usually this row's, my bin says that the first row is closed, then hard goods, then closed, then hard goods, closed, and then the very end bin is shoes and bags. So they just rotate it in order. They'll take out the first row of clothes, put a new clothes in, then in half an hour they take out row 2 and put new hard. But I've been to other ones where, like I've heard someone where they only bring out one set for the day or something like that. So it really depends on the location.
I didn't make it that far. Yeah. I didn't make it that far into mine to figure it out.
Joe got Apollo'd out the bins.
Joe's got a picture behind the counter. They're like, nah, don't let this guy in.
Look, I don't know how long it takes to get rotated, but I know how long it takes to get kicked out of.
I technically kicked myself out because it
You should go back and see if your picture's on the wall.
No, I don't want to.
Oh man!
In Greenville, what they do is in the morning when the employees get there, they'll open up, they'll change a whole row. So there's guys there at 6 a.m. The store don't open till 10, but they're there at 6 so they can see what row was replaced.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's the only thing I'm fortunate out here. Where the small town I'm at, it's not busy yet. I mean, the most people I've seen there at one time is like 30 people. But most of the time it's like 14, 15 people shopping. And we, like Joe said, we have a big store. So there's times where there's been a rotation and there's only 4 of us shopping that rotation. Like that's unheard of for the bins. But out here so far, that's how. That's why, Tim, that's why I'm a bins. What'd you call me? A bins what?
Bin bro.
Bin bro. That's why I'm a bin bro right now, because there's not a lot of competition.
I want to go to a bin so bad. I really do.
Come to Ohio. I'll take you to the best bin that you'll
How
ever
far
go
are
to.
you from Cleveland?
An hour and a half.
Okay, because I'll be in Cleveland in the summer.
Dude.
I'm gonna go to the National Card Show in Cleveland.
Well, if you don't make your way down here, let me know. I'll drive up there. That's not a bad drive at all.
Yeah, so I'm definitely planning on doing that. And then I was gonna ask one more question. It was about the bins. Damn, Tim. I can't remember. It's gone. I lost it. It'll come back to me like right when we're getting ready to sign off, but I can't remember. Damn it.
All right, that's it.
Joe's got the.
I just take Joe up randomly. It's like, what's going on? Don't boo me.
Oh, we should have all done that right when you put them back up. I'll do them.
Don't you know the rules, Joe? Come on.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the worst story.
What do you guys got coming up next? We're gonna give you guys a chance to do a little promo for yourself, but also We're drawing near the end, so we do appreciate Pocket Change Podcast for hanging out with us.
Best reselling podcast on the planet.
I don't know about that.
Check them out.
It is my listen. Tomorrow I asked Jimmy, Dan, and Joe. I messaged them because if you guys haven't watched, go binge watch, right? But in episode 10, they talk about how podcasts don't usually last past 10 episodes, right? Right? And that's like a thing apparently. And so like the next week came and there was no Pocket Change podcast. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I messaged them and I saw it in either Dan or Jimmy's story. But I was like, dude, like I like on Tuesday, on Wednesday, like that's my routine is listening to your podcast. Where the hell is my episode? And they're like, oh, we took the week off for the holiday. I'm like, as long as I'm getting 11 and we didn't just stop at 10. That's like when you get really hooked into a TV show and it doesn't get renewed for another season. And you're like, I'm like left with like this one season of what I thought was a really good show, but apparently nobody else did. And like, I just have to make up in my mind what happened in season 2, even though it doesn't exist. But yes, it is a really, really good podcast. I don't just say it to say it because I love these guys, but like I genuinely enjoy it. I think that, you know, like with us, obviously, you know, you have Cernoch, Eric, Leroy, and myself. We're just a big ball of randomness, and it works really well together. And like we're brothers. Like we've been doing this for forever now. And you know, like whenever we get a chance, we all meet up and stuff like that. But the thing is that Dan, Jimmy, and Joe, it works together very well. Like in order to do, I think people don't realize, in order to do this, like otherwise you just have 3 people talking, right? But you have to have a little bit of different, you know, personalities and different knowledge and things that people are good at when it comes to like talking and stuff like that. And when you put that together and it just like fits, like I keep doing this because I don't know how else to describe it with words, but I'm going to describe it with like this. It kind of goes like this.
You could do like a tornado signal. That'd be more like our podcast.
But no, I highly suggest it. It's very entertaining and it's not even just entertaining. Like there's been some episodes where it's like, you know, like for us, it's always interesting because Eric, Cernoch, and Leroy and myself, there will be a thing where we talk about and all of us have a different answer. And I think that that's important when you have different viewpoints, especially when it comes to reselling, because a lot of times people will tell you that you have to do this way. It needs to be done this way. This is how you do it, right? But when you have 3 people telling you how they do it and they all do it different, it's a better perspective on like, you know, you don't have to do things this way. You can do a little bit of Dan, a little bit of Jimmy, and a little bit of Joe, and you get a little bit of a pocket change, okay?
Yep.
All right.
Well said.
Well said. Couldn't say it any better.
That's a promo for us.
You
You can
gotta clip it out.
Yeah. Tim only gets certain amount of appearance fees. So. All right. We'll let you guys give your...
Well,
Tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on next, and all that shabazz, and let everybody know when you're signing up for the one-stop shop.
check us out on the Pocket Change Podcast on YouTube and wherever the other platforms that we're on. Dan, what are we on? We're on Apple and
All your favorite Spotify, iHeartRadio.
Yeah, we're on there. Pocket
Amazon.
Change Podcast. But I want to say thank you to these guys that letting us come on here and promote us. But we appreciate your time and we appreciate the questions. Hopefully we answered some of them. You know, hopefully you enjoyed some of those bin stories. But if I ever go back, I'll let you know how it went.
Dan?
Well, Joe, I wish you would have saved that bin story for the podcast, though, because I've never heard that story before. What the heck?
Well,
you're going to have to redo it,
More.
and
He's
then
got more.
we're all going to act surprised when you tell us that crazy story.
all right, we'll do that.
But I appreciate you guys inviting us on here. You can check us out on right here. I have the name Pocket Change Podcast, and check us out. We have episodes every Wednesday. What time? 9 a.m. Eastern. I always get. I think right. I don't know.
10 a.m. Eastern.
10 a.m. It's 9 o'clock my time.
9 your time.
Nine.
I'm Central. I appreciate you guys having us on. It was fun. I I don't know what else am I supposed to say.
When are you coming on a one-stop shop? You're gonna sign up for that?
Oh yeah, I guess I'll look into it. Yeah, I don't want to be. I'm like, you're trying to get me to go on there, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't have what you want. And you're like, well, you can if you want. So yeah, I'll look in. Yeah, if it's like, I just didn't want to be like a person like, I have this Old Navy shirt. Like, you really want that on your one-stop shop?
I stole it from the Van Buren boys.
No, they don't want that. They don't want that. But no, I appreciate you guys.
Do you have anything else coming up, Dan? Like other stuff on your YouTube channel or whatnot?
My YouTube channel's been like a struggle just for time wise. I just was. It's tough trying to keep up with all the stuff. I've just been under the weather since right after Christmas, and I was trying to keep up with my channel. So I guess I'm taking a little break from my channel because after we recorded yesterday for tomorrow, and then we're doing this today. So I don't foresee myself being able to want to do a video this week. I gotta catch up on my work too.
Let us know when the used car commercial comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. So yeah.
Are you still with Jake? You still with Jake on Saturdays?
Yeah. We it's been because of holidays and stuff. It's been and I was sick. I've been off for a while. So yeah, I'm still there, but it's been a hiatus for the last. I don't even remember the last time I was on now. It's the holidays have been tough because we celebrated my holidays. We do that on Saturday night, and then like my family functions have been on Saturday nights and stuff. So it's been hard to.
It's tough being a professional podcaster, Dan.
Yeah. It is a lot more harder than I was expecting. I thought about because it was exciting to do it because trying to get out a video to do a regular video was hard to be able to sit down and make something you want. Like, and it's not a brag on like make amazing videos. It's just hard to sit down and edit and do that stuff, which I don't do good edits either. So don't get it twisted on that. that I do a good job on that either. It's just like wanting to do stuff and then wanting to do like the podcast. I'm like, all right, you just sit down and just talk. And that's it. Then it comes in the same stuff you don't think about, like the getting times together to cohesiveness.
Yeah. Do you guys edit your podcast?
What's that?
Is your podcast? Do you have to do any editing for your podcast?
We haven't done only a few times, a few things, right?
Yeah, only a couple edits.
Things.
We edit the audio a little bit. We the audio stuff to just try to equalize it, but other than there's nothing really cut. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had to cut before because we had art on.
Yeah, wait until that first time you get 30 minutes into your podcast and you realize that you're not recording.
Yeah,
we've already had an instance with that where we thought I didn't think we were recording, but it was recording.
That's a lot better than
that was our biggest
cut.
Yeah,
that's the opposite. Only on days that Tim has to go somewhere immediately following, then I did that one time. Yeah. So Jimmy, I will say congratulations to Jimmy, man. 10K.
The most 10K podcast ever. Congratulations, Jimmy.
10K. Wow.
10K what?
Yeah, you ran the 10K.
Yeah, I did. No, I didn't hit 10K. Did I? Did I hit 10K and I didn't know? I think I'm close.
We're speaking on it, Jimmy.
We're speaking it into existence.
Okay, we're bringing. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm getting close, so I appreciate it. I want to, thank you, Reseller Information Network, all four of you guys. Known you guys forever, too, and you guys are awesome. Thank you for having us on. Tim, thank you for representing RIN with the shout out and the kind words. And, I love doing a podcast. Like Dan said, there's been some up and downs with the new podcast and the change. But the one thing I look forward to every week is sitting down and talking with these guys and joking around, unscripted. Like I now know that that's what I want to do. Like I enjoy every second of it while we're recording. When we're texting and talking to each other on the phone, I don't need any of that. No, I love hearing about my jokes don't land.
I love hearing about Dan's red alert text messages in your guys' podcast.
No, but I just enjoy every second of it, and I like that we can be talking about weather, and then we can talk about a bad movie, and then we can be talking about reselling. We don't have there's just no script, and with the change that I've recently made to this podcast, I've learned a lot from these two guys too, and like some of the things that have helped me with making podcasts too. So I'm just having so much fun. And if you guys come over and watch, hopefully you guys that reflects that we're just having a blast. Like and like I said, Dan has me laughing, and then Joe's like he's like our quick one-liner guy that every once in a while just puts me into laughter. And then there's me, the total mess. Like I'm just a mess. I'm like all over the place. No, but it's fun. It's fun, and I love doing it. And I feel like I'm halfway decent at it. I don't know. I have some work to do, but I have a lot of fun with it. So thanks, guys.
All right, Cernoch.
Hey, it's been a pleasure having Dan, Leroy, and Joe here. I mean, it's cool, like, to see, like, podcasts coming with another, and everyone's in each other's chats and everything like that. But it's cool to see, like, everyone come together, like, just as a collective too, because that's kind of like the resale. Like, like I can go with any of these guys and go shopping. You guys too, and it's everyone learning from some stuff, from everybody else, which I think is important as well. Just to kind of keep it going, because that's the knowledge. One day you might hear about one thing from someone else, and the next day you find it. How awesome is that? Just like constantly learning. So I just want to thank all these guys, for coming on and just teaching more. Giving more to us and our viewers as well.
Well, I want to say thank you to you guys. I appreciate you guys. I watch you guys. I'm really bad with leaving comments to most people's. I don't leave comments, so they don't even know I was there. But you can tell you stuff, knowing that, I was there. But it's really cool. I've met all of you guys except for Dan. So that's exciting. And I do have one question for all of you guys. When this is the magical question everybody says, when's the meetup?
When's the Pocket Change podcast meetup?
When's the meetup?
If you guarantee me another slow dance, we'll get it done.
Oh yeah, you guys didn't know that Leroy and Jimmy were doing the
tango?
Yeah, no, bro. Like they were full on, like, got
slow dance. I'm just messing with the Leroy. I froze Leroy. No.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know.
That's a little deep cut right there. If you're, you might find it in somebody's video. A little deep cut from the reseller rally. Like, all right, Tim, take us out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys for joining us on this adventurous ride. We want to thank you guys for joining us as we put our hands in our pants and found some pocket change.
I didn't know where that was going.
I was wondering where you're going. We're about to
we want to thank you guys as always. We hope you enjoyed this. Please do us a favor. Go subscribe to the Pocket Change podcast. These guys are awesome. We hope you enjoyed this. We hope you learned a lot of new and exciting stuff. How to navigate your bins without getting booed. Most importantly, don't forget to head over to the One Stop Shop. Tomorrow, we will be doing an all-day live raid train event. We appreciate all the love, and we appreciate all the support. Don't forget to tell a friend about RIN Reseller Information Network.